But the man who was in the middle of some controversy, prior to the elections, because he conducted polls which were denied, accepted by some other people, denied by other people, people wouldn't accept and all that. But it just turns out that his polls were accurate. And he's conducted another polls, this time on the performance of the vetting. And the outcome indicates that John Mahama's approval of the vetting is 84% in terms of his whatever the earlier actions and decisions he has taken. The path on which he's taken the country, people think that is good, and they scored him 84%. And disapproval was 9%. And also, no opinion, those who didn't hold any opinion by the sample size that was put together was 7%. Mussa Dankwah is the Executive Director for Global Info Analytics. He's joined me by the phone lines. Let's speak to him to explain to us further what the latest poll conducted by his team is all about. Thank you, sir. You're welcome. Good morning to you. You're welcome to the program.
Good morning to you, Annie, and thank you very much for having me.
Thank you. Thank you for making time. I know you're pressed with time, but you've made some time to speak to us. So, speak to us on this polls. Why was it very necessary for you to conduct this polls?
Annie, we are now a country of data. We want to speak with facts and data. We want to be able to compare the performance of President A and President B in year 1, year 2, year 3, and beyond. And by so doing, we are continuing with what we started in January 2022, which is asking Ghanaians about the performance of their president, how they see the direction of the country, and their standard of living as people, and whether they are optimistic things will improve in the next 12 months. So that in the future, we can compare on annual basis how each of the presidents were assessed. And that's why we are back doing this. And also, while at it, we took the opportunity to sample opinions regarding the work of the Committee of Appointment in Parliament, whether they are happy with it or they are not. And also the key personnel on the committee, the chairman and the ranking, how are they being assessed by the public? And finally, to assess or to ask voters whether they agree or disagree with the assertion that the vetting is being used to score political points. And I believe these are important matters Ghanaians would like to know the views of others.
Right. So now to the polls. The 84% scored by John Mahama. Did you have the chance to compare it to the confidence polls you conducted some time back before the elections? And do you see a U-turn of that same population or percentage now believing that we are on the right path?
Right. That you have to look at the direction of the country.
Yeah, and I'm asking that because you're saying that we are now a country of data. So it means we need to be comparing as a when. Yes.
Absolutely. When we ask voters whether Ghana was headed in the right direction or wrong direction, in January 2024, only 22% said Ghana was headed in the right direction. Today, January 2025, that number is now 70%. That is a whopping increase of huge number, more than 50%. And that difference is purely on the basis of new leadership. When we ask people the same question in 2024, January, 68% said Ghana was headed in the wrong direction. 68% said wrong direction. Today, that number is 16%. This can only be attributed to the presidency of John Mahama.
Now let's focus on the vetting. So it doesn't look as though the minority is in good pictures when it comes to the performance of what the vetting has gone so far. Just give us a brief of how. So you have performance of ranking and minority leader. Honorable Alexander Afenyo-Markin, who obviously has been very, gone viral as far as some of his questions and behaviors are concerned on the committee. Not satisfied, we are 44%. Not satisfied at all. Okay, not satisfied at all is 44%. Not satisfied is 20%. Somehow satisfied is 17%. Very satisfied, 11%. And extremely satisfied is 8%. Please, what does it mean?
It means that people are not happy with his performance on the committee.
So Afenyo generally scored 36%.
Yes, among all voters. The remaining 54% are dissatisfied with how he is performing his role on that committee. Remember, this is not about his role as minority leader, but the job he's doing on the committee. Right. And if you look at that, this is reinforced by the responses they gave to us, which tend to agree that the person is being used to score political points. If you look at the numbers, 77% of respondents believe that, or they agree that the vetting is being used to score political points, rather than used to assess the competence of the individuals who are going to man those roles.
And we also had 62% of voters satisfied with the work of the appointment committee, but nearly 38% dissatisfied.
Yes. So overall, the committee as a whole, which comprises of both minority and majority, are assessed much better than even the chairman of the committee. Mm-hmm. The chairman of the committee scores lower, about 56% approval, satisfaction, but Parliament committee as a whole is 62%. And then the least performing person on that, in terms of the ranking, is Afenyo-Markin.
Okay, so if you check the questions that Mussa Dankwah and his team shared for the survey, we had some questions like, in your view, do you think that the country is heading in the right direction? We also had questions like, I want the vetting questions. Are you optimistic your standard of living will improve? This is about the performance, right? The confidence.
This is about people's expectation for the next 12 months. Before the election, they had, in fact, a dim view. Only 32% thought in the next 12 months their standard of living will improve. Now that number has gone to 78%.
Wow. In terms of the minority performance, we've seen, maybe supporters or persons who believe in the posture of the minority as they're doing quite well. But the polls are showing otherwise. And if the data is anything to go by, do you think that the minority planned properly? Not necessarily scoring political points, but did they plan properly towards this vetting activity?
In my view, no. Because if you look at the opinion polls before the election, it showed clearly that Ghanaians were prioritizing economy, jobs, education, health, those for that much as priority.
Yes.
When you assume a role of opposition, those priorities have not changed. So I would have expected that their line of questioning should be really focused on these areas. And completely they missed that one out. And that's why the public are not happy with what they are doing. If you look at the questions that were asked, most of them had nothing to do with the work that they are going to do in their ministries. And that is why people are responding negatively to that.
Wow. You have a question? You want to ask something? Mr. Mussa Dankwah, does it end there or until we're done? We can't conclude yet, no?
What we're going to be doing is another survey in April, which by then we will have known exactly what has happened or transpired on the committee for the entire period. Then we can assess the committee again, reassess Afenyo-Markin, reassess the chairman of the committee, and indeed the key appointees who appeared before them. We will see how the voters perceive their performance on the committee.
Has the minority seen these polls?
The whole world has seen it.
Have they seen it? None of them has communicated to you?
No, usually we don't open ourselves to be interrogated by people who may be happy or unhappy about polls. You can go to the walls, we have, reports are complete. If you have this issue, you can send us email or we will respond to that.
So if they sort of want more information, say facts behind the figures, they can't deal with you?
What we haven't put out there is analytics, maybe demographic analytics, but everything is out there in terms of the response of gender, age, party affiliation. Those ones, we haven't put them out there. But everything that you need to know is there. The questionnaires have been attached for a good reason, so they will see exactly what questions were asked and how they were asked. And then we indicated the methodology that was used to get the report. It is there. And I don't believe anybody can now criticize our methodology again, because besides everybody else, we were the only one that got my methodology right. So I think the issue of methodology have been put to bed.
Mr. Mussa Dankwah, we'll leave it here. Thank you. We'll engage you again. Thank you as you continue with your polls.